It's a little after it's a little after 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's good to be with you guys. Like I just said in the chat, I am super excited about the attendance on this call. Wow, absolutely blown away. I'm so glad all of you could join us this evening on this exciting call. And guys, what's really exciting is the fact that we're opening this program up to the entire field now. We've been in beta test for the last, I think 2 months or so, month and a half, 2 months. And ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely ready to rock and roll. So we're super excited about this program. Guys, this will add so many points, so much business within your business in ViV. And we're going to be able to help so many people around the country to generate revenue for their charities utilizing the ViV fundraising program. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the gentleman that's going to go through the information this evening. He's the gentleman that is the brains behind this operation, and it's a pleasure to work with him on this. Almost every day we're working on this in some fashion. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Steve Beden.
Thank you, Nick, and welcome everybody. I'm glad you could join us tonight, and apologies for the snafu of the multiple different calls, but we'll kind of grow forward from there. So tonight, as we're going to do as we do each week, we have a specific agenda, and at the latter part of it, we'll always pick on some kind of a topic, fundraising topic. Tonight, our topic is going to be booster clubs, PTAs, and PTOs. And before that, though, we're going to talk a little bit about the Autopilot program and how it differentiates between maybe some of the other traditional fundraising programs out there. We're going to talk a little bit about how it works, and then we're going to talk about how fundraising organizations can earn their fundraising dollars. And then I'm going to give you kind of a quick market overview on fundraising and fundraising opportunities that kind of lie before each of you. And as I said, we'll end it with talking about booster clubs, PTAs, and PTOs, and I'll kind of share a little bit about who they are and where you can find them, and then understanding their focus. So with that said, let's start out with really talking about the differences between how Autopilot, the fundraising program, stands up against the traditional fundraisers. It's kind of nice because Autopilot is a program that literally requires no inventory. There's nothing to sell. Fundraising organizations aren't going to have to purchase something. They're not going to have to ask their donors to make contributions. There's no cost to the organization ever. There's no risks, literally no risks and no chargebacks too. And the chargebacks are real important because, as we share in just a second about how the fundraising compensation is paid, you'll see the benefit to that. No minimum requirements at all. This fundraising program will work for all fundraising levels, whether it's an organization or a family. It's also qualified in all 50 states. There's no restrictions. And the uniqueness to this is our Autopilot program will both benefit the supporter and the fundraising group at the same time. Funds also can be paid out on a weekly basis. So that's a unique feature that most fundraisers don't have. And it's very easy, very quick, and very, very simple to set up. If you look at the typical fundraiser, whether it's selling cookie dough or maybe jackling sausage or seat cushions, almost all fundraisers of some type require some kind of an inventory. They typically will require their supporters to make a purchase or to dig into their pocket and make a personal donation. They require minimum commitments, and it's not uncommon that let's assume that they're selling discount cards. Pretty typical that there's large sales quotas that's required from their participants. And again, it's really common that you'll find that when a fundraiser, which typically is about 3 to 6 weeks, when they close out, it might be a couple weeks after. So before they ever get their compensation. So it's typically not paid out until at least a month plus. The ViV Autopilot program is a really simple program to get started. And so step one is you as the fundraising consultant, you have to have a unique fundraising URL. Now, I want to stop and let you know the URL or the landing page that you as ViV consultants are using, that's not the same page and not the same landing page that we use in the fundraising market. So you'll be given a unique fundraising link. It's your web alias and then .justviv.com/fundraising partner. That link is tied to you. So all of the fundraising organizations, when they click on your link and they go in there and they fill out the registration form, they'll be tied to you automatically. So it's very important that you use that unique fundraising link. And again, when the organization or the individual who needs to raise funds, When they come to your landing page, they'll be able to see a couple different videos. They'll be able to get information on the fundraising program, and then they'll be able to sign up and register. It's a pretty easy, simple registration form. It also allows them to be able to customize their own specific link or URL by uploading their logo or their mascot. Once they've completed the registration form, they'll be taken to a landing page. That landing page has the ability for them to download a fundraising guide, a very comprehensive guide that gives them steps and tips and pointers and sample marketing materials. They also can download customizable flyers and email and text templates. Once they've got ahead and downloaded the information and they've got the marketing materials, they now have their unique URL, they're going to be in a position to start sending that out to their supporters. And it's as simple as their supporters visiting their URL, getting enough information from the landing page to give them some confidence on what the fundraiser is. And then they upload their bills. They'll upload their bills right there from their own unique URL page. And again, when the bills are uploaded, all they have to be done is qualified bills. And we'll talk about that in a second. All bills that come in and that are qualified by Sunday, the organization can get paid the following Friday. You as consultants too, the importance is you earn the same exact points that you do in with your traditional business. So in the fundraising world, the niceness to it is that you'll see there are a large number of points that can come in because when a bill is submitted from one individual, typically maybe it's 3 or 4 bills. When you get an organization and you take and multiply that by its supporters, it literally could be hundreds or thousands of bills that turn into points. And so you as a consultant, again, you get the same type of points negotiated, and those all apply towards both your savings bonuses and your power team bonuses. The fundraising, and it's important to share that a little bit different from typical fundraisers. Most fundraising programs, again, doesn't matter what they're marketing, they'll have a campaign period, and that's typically maybe 3 to 6 weeks. And so what happens is the end of that typical fundraiser, end of the 6-week period, they close out, they figure out what kind of inventory they have, what they're going to do with it, they get all their checks, and then they're done. Well, our fundraising program will stay open for a total of 12 months. And the benefit to that is let's play a scenario for just a second. Let's just assume that the organization has gone out and over the course of 3 to 6 weeks, they've done their promotion and they've got 500 bills. And the niceness to it is if they want to do another follow-up promotion on maybe month 6, then they have the ability to earn additional revenues. And I'll share that in just a second. And so over the course of a full 12 months, the fundraising program will remain open, which means any other bills that come in after their initial campaign will continue to accrue and continue to pay out to them. At the end of a year, VIV will reset the program, and the fundraising opportunity will start over. And so how that works is that we only focus on one thing, and that is the submission of qualified bills. And what that means is that any bill that VIV would typically negotiate, such as the cell phone bill or the utility bill, and any of those that we typically negotiate, as long as the consumer or the supporter basically uploads all the information that would qualify that bill so VIV could negotiate it, then that will automatically qualify for the fundraising organization to get paid on. It doesn't matter if VIV negotiates any savings or not. The bill just has to be uploaded and it has to be qualified, meaning they have to give us their customer information, they have to give us a clear copy of the bill, they have to give the payment information, and they have to agree to the terms. That's it. As long as they upload the information, that bill now has become qualified and the fundraising organization will get paid. And again, no chargebacks. So if 6 months down the road, VIV's still trying to negotiate on the bill and they don't, the fundraising group still got paid. There's no chargebacks. The fundraising program is designed on what we call a 6-tier program. No residuals, everything is paid up front. And so each of the bills, the more the bills that the fundraising organization submits, the more valuable they get. And if you remember just a second ago, I was talking about the 12-month period. So if we play some what ifs here, let's assume that we've got an organization, and maybe it's a small group, and they go out and over the first 60 days, they're able to do their initial campaign and they bring in 500 bills. Well, under our scenario, that's $3,650. And at that point, at 500 bills, they're at the $10 per bill level. And so now let's play the scenario that maybe month 6, the organization, and maybe let's say it's a church. And so, we've got a congregation that's been supporting it, and some of those people are starting to come to church and they're starting to share with other parishioners that, gosh, I saved a bunch of money on that VIV fundraising program. And maybe some of those people were maybe a little reluctant to start. And all of a sudden they've said, geez, I wish I could do it. Well, all that fundraising organization has to do is send out a tickler, just send out a reminder and prompt their supporters or their parishioners that, hey guys, here's a tremendous opportunity. If you didn't get on board at the start, there's another opportunity for you to upload your bills and get savings. And so our first scenario was that they had uploaded 500 bills. They made $3,650. And at that point, they were at the $10 bill mark. The second go around, let's assume they upload another 499 bills. Well, that gives them to a total of 999 bills. And again, all of those 499 were going to be paid to them at $10. And then let's go one more step. Let's assume that just before the end of the year, they said, gosh, we've got a lot of people wanting to submit bills, and let's launch another tickler campaign. Every bill that's submitted up to the end of that year, so from that point, 1,000 on, is worth $15 a bill. And I can tell you that your average fundraising organizations, your smaller ones, we predict that most of them will be in that 300 to 500 bill range. And those are very small. Those are small organizations. In fact, some of the ones we're going to talk about here in just a couple minutes. But 1,500 bills for an average size organization isn't out of question. Again, whether they get it all up front or they get over the term period. So 12-month period, at the end of 12 months, what happens is the fundraiser will then reset. And what's really nice about our program, when you really think about this, we've almost got a residual built into this, because what happens is at the end of the 12 months, let's assume that the organization had 500 people that had bills negotiated. Okay, those 500 bills that were negotiated, what's going to happen is, as we all understand, VIV's going to kind of reach out and say, hey, would you like us to renegotiate additional savings? If they say yes and they take advantage of that autopilot feature, when VIV renegotiates savings or submits those bills, guess what? Creates an automatic commission or a fundraising profit for that organization. And they literally didn't have to do anything. So what I'm telling you is going to happen is that when that happens and kicks in, you as a consultant make additional dollars, but the fundraising organization has also made additional dollars without doing anything. That's going to kick them into wanting to launch and make it an even bigger benefit for themselves. Fundraising, we say, happens 365 days a year, and it really truly is the case. Our Autopilot program, again, it's open to anyone in any group needing to raise money in all 50 states. It doesn't matter if they're 501c3. It doesn't matter if it's a family facing a life impacting crisis. It's open to all organizations and all needs. Fundraising groups never pay anything ever. There's no inventory to buy or to store. There's no risks. There's no chargebacks. There's no minimum requirements to meet. It's quick and very easy to get started, and they get paid weekly. And supporters don't need to reach into their pocket to, make a purchase on something they don't want or to make a donation. What's nice about this too, this is a program that literally allows the fundraising groups to give something back to their supporters at the same time that they're raising money. And also fundraising groups, again, they're paid regardless of whether VIV negotiates the bill or a discount or not. As long as it's qualified, they get paid. Again, no chargebacks. So let's talk a little bit about the opportunity before you, just so you kind of get a general perspective view of really what's out there from a fundraising standpoint. And I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter what town you live, what city, what community. These are opportunities that can be found literally from coast to coast, in the smallest of communities to the largest cities. There's an estimate of about 1.5 million charitable organizations in the United States, and it's estimated that about 90% of those, they all fundraise. Add to that another 315,000 congregations, of which it's estimated that about 95% of those seek some kind of donations or contributions or tithing. And then another 130,000 K-12 public schools, of which it's estimated that approximately 87% of those conduct fundraising campaigns via the students and the faculty each year. And then what we're going to talk about tonight is PTAs, parent-teacher associations. There's about approximately 20,000 of them. and they all pretty much conduct a fundraising activity of some type every year. Top that with another 50,000 PTOs or parent-teacher organizations, again, who all conduct fundraising activities. And then if you want, put on top of that an excess of really more than 400,000, but 400,000 booster clubs who all conduct, in fact, they don't just conduct one, but most all booster clubs conduct multiple fundraisers every single year. We didn't talk about the private schools, the college alumni, the social interest groups, the many different foundations, special interest groups, and also the individuals and the families across the country, maybe who are facing some kind of a life-impacting crisis. And you can see that literally in your backyard, you have tremendous opportunities, and there are a wealth of opportunities that are out there fundraising. And it really doesn't matter when you get started, because fundraising truly does happen 365 days a year. So I told you that in each of our training sessions, we also pick on a specific topic or an area of focus. And tonight we're going to talk about booster clubs and PTAs and PTOs. And so what are they? Maybe some of you have heard the word booster club, but you don't really understand, or PTA, PTO. And I know there's a song about PTOs, but they're really what they are is they're all independent parent organizations that support a given extracurricular program. Typically it's sports, music, arts, or robotics. In the booster club world, though, it kind of expands that. And so let me go from the bottom up. PTOs and PTAs are typically found in your elementary schools. And so K through 8, you typically will only find PTAs and PTOs. You'll find a few booster clubs that are school-based, but the PTA and PTO is where you've got the organization that focuses on the crossing guard party or the teachers' parties or just little things. But again, they all raise monies, and they're in pretty much all K through 12 public schools across the United States. When you get into the booster club market, that's a very diverse and a very wide market, because not only are booster clubs found in schools, but they can also be found supporting school programs. So say private gymnastics club, or it's a private dance club that's a for-profit. They typically will have a nonprofit booster club tied to them. I've even been involved in helping set up booster clubs for communities. Pick on New Orleans. They didn't have the money to upkeep their parks. They looked for creative alternatives. Well, booster clubs. And so they rallied neighborhoods to create a booster club to provide volunteer and fundraising support to upkeep their parks. Fire jumpers. I mean, there's a wide verse. So pretty much any kind of an organization, even with our professional teams, a lot of your semi-pro and your professional teams have booster clubs. In the collegiate area, what you'll find is two things. You'll find alumni, and those are typically your Division I and Division II schools, and maybe some of your Division IIIs, but Division III and your NAI schools, those all have booster clubs, the same thing. They all focus on two things. They focus on volunteer support and raising dollars. So literally you can find them just about anywhere around the country. And again, understanding what they do is just that. They're trying to provide a better opportunity for the participants, which in most cases are students or youth, to participate within the given extracurricular program. They have to raise money. And just so you know that, again, when they look to raise money, they're looking months out. So I want you all to understand that when you're planting seeds in the fundraising market, you're not doing it for instant successes or instant results. It's not uncommon to find that the typical fundraiser will be planning, what are we going to do 3 or 6 or 9 or 12 months down the road? So as I tell people, you be really good farmers, you plant lots of seeds, you just kind of water them a little bit, tickle them to make sure that they're there. And if you turn around pretty soon, you're going to find you have a wealth of opportunities. So with that, what I'd like to do is turn it back over to Nick, and maybe we can open for a couple questions as well, if he wants.
Yeah, that sounds good, Steve. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Here's what I'm going to do. Before we have people ask questions, there are some questions in the chat that we can go through. What I want to do is just, if you could just touch on real quick, just touch on some of the other kind of charity programs that we're going to be talking about in the future. If you could give some examples of that.
Yeah, so I mean, literally charities is just about anything from, it could be a local organization, we pick congregations, but it could be a national organization, and I'll tell you, when we start getting into some of the larger ones, maybe it could be the National Softball Association. And I only pick on them because it's an organization that a very dear friend of mine who's involved with us is reaching out. There's some stuff we might do with them, but those are organizations that have again, at a national scope, and then they have a lot of softball teams. They've got them all over the country. So the opportunity for us to go to national or regional organizations and give them either I'll call it a modified white label opportunity with this, and then to be able to push it down to all of their affiliates or subs is huge. I mean, you're talking huge opportunities. So so on a national scale, you have many different associations, you have many different organizations. I mean, even in the congregation, you've got some super congregations that are tied to other ones, and you have some organizations there. So I can tell you, if you take the magical wand and want to get really creative, I mean, you could literally, if you just don't want to do anything else, but just focus on fundraising, you will have so much work before you. So all I want to encourage you to do is, and this is something we did in a couple calls back, really become a cheerleader. And what I encourage you to do is find what your passion is, find what your interest is. If it's, and I think in one of our calls, we used like a humane society for pets, a pet rescue type facility. If that's your passion, what I encourage you to do is go find a local pet rescue, and I'll tell you what you're going to find. They need money, very much so. But you know what? They don't have enough volunteers. So if you can become the cheerleader, if you can be the person that can spearhead the fundraiser for them, you're going to have a huge success. And what's going to happen from that is that's going to spin off other fundraisers. So going back to our market tonight, boosters, PTAs, and PTOs, here's one thing you'll find. If you get your foot into one of those organizations, just don't be surprised that all of a sudden some of those parents are going to say, gosh, I'm also involved in this other sports team or this other PTA organization, and can we do it for our organization? So just keep your eyes open and know this is a huge, huge opportunity. And we are, I'm telling you, we are one of, if not the only fundraising organization doing this in a tie or an attachment to a network marketing company. And this is a tremendous program. So, and it's completely separate. They don't have to be involved in networking, just so you know. It's just true fundraising to them.
Yeah, that's right. That term network marketing doesn't even have to come up in the conversation at all if it doesn't, if you don't want it to. You know,
and you'll see that on the fundraising landing page. It doesn't talk about networking. It was specific. So when Cammie and I started putting this together a long time ago, that was one of the requirements, because we wanted to make sure we did this right. We do it true, and we do it to the fundraising seat. So you won't find any fundraising organizations that are going to put their nose up. This is a really rock solid program.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. This is super exciting. I mean, guys, this is an unlimited opportunity here. There's hundreds of millions of customers out there that we can go and get, and we can get that through this fundraising program, in addition to the traditional way of building this business as well. This is another tool in the toolbox that we're, letting everybody be able to take advantage of and build their business with. So what we can do now is, if anybody has any questions, raise their hand and I'll go ahead and unmute you. Yep. Okay. So we've got Brewster Rotary who's got a question. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I guess I have the wrong. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
It's Jan and Mindy.
Oh, hey, Jan. How you doing?
I just had the wrong name on my meeting. Sorry.
I was going to call you Brewster. Go ahead, Brewster.
That's one of the groups I'm thinking of, though, the Rotary. How do we get our that extra part to our URL added so that we can start sending groups over there?
And I'm not sure if it's automatic. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask if they're ready to open that for everybody that way. I'm not sure.
Operational right now. You should be able to use your URL that you chose. Yeah. And then the rest of it, I forget what the rest of it was, Steve.
Yeah. So what it is then, if that's the case, so whatever your specific ID number is, so like mine's Team B. So it's Team B, whatever yours is, .justvive/fundraising partner. Yep. Same for everybody. Yeah, it's just your unique URL.
I'm getting a 404 error on the page when we plug it in.
So. Okay, we can address that. Let's yeah, it should be your web alias .justvive.com/fundraising partner. Don't forget the .com after JustVive.
We got it. Got it. But did you lowercase? Doesn't matter.
It shouldn't matter, lowercase or uppercase.
No? Okay. All right. Well.
So here's what we'll do. We'll make sure tomorrow morning, and we'll have to give it to Danny. We'll just make sure that's open.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks for that question, though. Thank you.
That was a great question. Thank you. All right. Anybody else have a question? Go ahead and raise your hand. I think you covered it pretty good, Steve. I think everybody's just excited to get out there.
I
And
ju- I
start
just have
working.
a part two to that question, if you can. Once we do have access to that and the potential club or fundraising partner gets on with us, they go to that other URL and they can create on their own a unique login, or do we do that for them? How's that going to
Well,
happen?
so what'll happen is from your unique landing page, they'll actually fill out a form. They'll fill out a registration form. And that registration form, when it's submitted, it'll also give them the ability to set up their own unique URL. And so they'll actually have their own unique, which it'll come back to them. They'll be emailed that as well too. And what they'll be done is, as soon as they get done, they submit it, they're taking to the landing page where they can download the marketing materials. And they'll receive an email from the company as well, letting them know, here's your unique landing page. It's the one they set up when they fill out the form. In fact, do we want to go to the page and show them what it looks like?
I was actually, yeah, go ahead and do that. That's fine. I was going to show them how to access the documents and things in the back office, but if you want to show them.
Let you do that. Let's just do let's show them the link.
Yeah, that's good. You can go ahead and share your screen if you want.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was.
No,
Let me
I
go
stopped it.
back. Let me. Okay. Okay, so here's the landing. Can everybody see the landing page?
Yes, yeah, perfect.
Okay, good. Okay, so this is the landing page that each of you will have, and I can scroll down. There's a couple videos. There's one up here, and it's Cami talking about the fundraising program specifically. And then it kind of scrolls all the way down. It's some of the sample sheets that we just talked about and showed, kind of gives them the steps. And here's where they'll enroll as a fundraising partner. I'll show you that in just a second. And then kind of goes through the compensation, kind of goes through negotiation. This video here is the one that talks about the program, the general scope of how build negotiations happen. Kind of goes down, shows in samples, and talks about energy switching and then fundraising. And so again, if they sign up, they'll go to this link right here. And this link is pretty simple and straightforward. It's just a fundraising application. It's pretty simple. All they do, it's got your information tied to it as long as you send it to them through your link. And then they just fill the information about their organization. It's just contact information, who they are, how do they want to be contacted. They choose right here is where they choose their own unique URL web address. And once they put that in, once they go down and finish, then they hit the submit button. That's going to take them to the landing page where they can download the marketing materials. And it's going to send them an email. And that email is going to allow them to go back in, and in the back office, they can then upload their mascot or logo or whatever they want to their page. Okay.
Perfect. All right. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Steve. And guys, stay on. I've got a couple of things to go over with you, but Steve, thank you so much. This information was absolutely invaluable. And guys, we will get this recording out to everybody. And what I wanted to do now is actually show you real quick on how to be able to download the fundraising documents and get all of the information that you need that we talked about today. So I'm going to share my screen real quick and pull this over here. Sorry, just give me 1 second here. Okay, so in your back office, you're going to go to, when you log into your back office, you're going to go to resources, and then you're going to go down here to the left where it says Fundraising Partner Program. Okay, and then these are the three things that are going to pop up. You're going to have the fundraising video, that the one we opened up with at the beginning of the call, which is awesome, right? Okay, then you're going to have the fundraising program flyer in PDF form. And then you're also going to have the fundraising program registration. Okay, so I would definitely admonish all of you to go in your back office after this call and look at all the information that's there, kind of get familiar with it, right? So that you're able to relay it to the people that you're talking to about this program. All right. Okay, excellent. And the next thing I wanted to talk about, some announcements. So that'll kind of wrap up the fundraising call for today, but a huge announcement for tomorrow night's live overview presentation. Okay, so again, everybody knows that every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, I do a live presentation, ViV presentation for the whole company, right? Where you can bring guests on and you can have a live presentation done by me tomorrow night. Well, we're going to add something very, very special to that afterwards. What I'm going to do right after the presentation is going to be about 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. All right, I'm trying to cut it down to even shorter than that, but about 20 to 25 minutes. And then right after that, I'm going to go right into a quick start training, okay, to show everybody how to launch a new person. Guys, we have new people getting started with us in a big way right now, okay? We're launching people constantly, and I want to show all of you how to do it properly. And so what I want everybody to do is not only be on the presentation and quick start training, but most importantly, get all of your new people, anybody that you're having take a look at the opportunity, anybody that you've had sign up already as a consultant, make sure they're on for that tomorrow night, because I'm going to take them through and teach them how to get their business launched. And I see Debbie Lee just posted the link for the presentation tomorrow night. Very simple link, okay? And just stay on after that, and I'll do a quick start training on how to get your business launched. It'll only be about 15 minutes or so. It's not a big process, but it'll get everybody up to speed with how to do that. Also, you can also share that link with your guests and your teammates through your Rapid Funnel app, your outreach app, okay? And that way you'd be able to track what's going on as well. So I think that's what we've got for tonight, guys. This has been just a little over a half an hour on the dot, so I appreciate all of you getting on. Let's keep getting these calls with more and more people on them. We're going to do it next week at the same exact time, next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you're in attendance, put it in your calendars. Remember, put your BO's Breakfast of Champions Tuesday and Thursday at noon Eastern in your calendar. Put Tuesday night fundraising at 8:30 p.m. Eastern in your calendar. And then Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, is our weekly presentation live every single week. So make sure you have those events in your calendar, guys. Let's get this going. We're really excited about everything that's happening, guys. This is the tip of the iceberg. This is just one more tool in our tool bag, and we've got a big tool bag ready for you to take advantage of. So with that, guys, thank you very much for hopping on. I appreciate all of you. And everybody have a good night. We'll see you on tomorrow night's presentation at 9 p.m. Eastern.